Hello, welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage. We got another project coming up here. We're just bringing it into the shop. It's a 68 Triumph Bonneville. Different than the other one we got unrestored, so we got to work on this one now. So we'll head over there to the table and look at all the parts we have required for this thing.
It's mostly complete. Well, other than the motor and stuff's out of it, but I mean, we have all the pieces here. Seat's in pretty nice condition.
Fender's kind of rough, but we'll work on the little cosmetics later down the road. We got a whole engine that's been tore apart because, well, let's just talk about it over there. So we have all the parts laying here on the table. It's all tore apart because the person who had this said that there was a bottom end noise. So we were told that this has a bottom end noise, a knocking sound. So we're going to have to figure out what it is. So we can't just like assume that the bottom end's okay, even though it feels really good. We're going to have to split the cases and go into it because we don't want a bottom end knock sound. And we didn't hear it when it was running. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the plan here with this.
Clean the slow strap.
And yes, it's 68. It's painted correctly. We think that the tank might be leaking a little bit because of some gas residue back here. Just kind of odd. I'll have to look into that. It doesn't have the Bonneville sticker written on the side here at an angle. It doesn't have the gold pinstriping either. That's another point. But the paint is like the correct red and the correct silver. So, I mean, it looks nice this way, I guess. Correct tank badges for 68. We can't tell if it's an older or newer motor yet. We haven't really done any sort of research yet on it. It doesn't really totally matter. But it does have the later style nuts on the bottom here. But a lot of people switch these out anyway, so it doesn't really matter there.
And it has the timing plug.
Oh yeah, the timing plug. So we know it's done a really early 68. And then we put a pin in there, and we can find where, and then the flywheel crankshaft there, we can just figure out where it's.
The earlier ones might have had that too, but there's a timing. There's actually more than just top dead center. It might have the other bunch of junk here. Material. Let's roll it over. Let's look. There's one. There's the other. See? So, yeah, this is at least a late because there'd be top dead center, see, right there. And then 38 degrees before would be right about there. So this is a late 68.
Just by looking at that.
Just by that on the crankshaft.
It does have later amyl carburetors because of the fact that it has large ticklers, for one thing. And it has foot bowl drains. So we know that's later amyl carburetors. Or however you want to say amyl. Some people say amyl.
And plus, they're not the correct package. These are 300s. See, this is an R300.
Okay.
When you bought amyls from Amyl, you have your choice of like off-the-shelf carburetors for, like, let's say this is a 930. So this didn't have a package that was built for the 68 Bonneville. There was specific ones, and they'd be marked as such. They'd be like let's just say 67, 68, or 91, 92. I don't know. I'd have to look up the numbers. But the 300 meant that it was a universal one in a 930. You put it on anything that took a 930, but you have to jet it to suit. And you'd have to make sure you got the right slide, because some of them took 3, some of them took 3.5s, and it was just, there was differences, and that's what that's all about. So it would have just had a universal set.
Sure.
And
cool.
So these are replacement carburetors, and they're not too old, because you can tell by the coloring of this yet is still bright, and so I would guess that these carburetors were put on here not too long before he took it apart.
Yeah, so I mean, we got the rest of the engine parts, the rocker boxes, of course, cylinders, and it has the
And they're nice and smooth. They don't have a groove. Lots of times they'll get a flat mark in the center. See that? They don't have any, so they're nice.
I might be kind of picking up a line from it, but it's nothing there.
It's not a one that you catch your fingernail on.
Yep. So.
And the valves on the tips aren't pocketed. So it's...
Okay.
I don't know if this was rebuilt recently. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just that I kind of want to do head work to it just to make it all fresh and stuff. But so a few dollars will go into that, getting it all nice and neat looking and ready to go. Of course, probably put a plenty new seals in there. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, kibble white.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, yeah, and then he gave us the book he had and a couple wrenches, Whitworth wrenches that he didn't need laying around no more because this is all he had for this stuff. So, all right, we're checking out the tank right now because it's kind of like one of the prettiest parts of the bike, the tank. And if the guy did a decent paint job, but you know what, it's probably not no good.
Unfortunate. Well, it needs fixed. There's a crack there. You look real close. That's cracked right there, and it's cracked across and it's cracked along onto this bracket, and this bracket is half cracked this way. See it? All the way through there.
So that probably kind of explains why that's kind of like yellowy back here from maybe gas leaking.
It's been leaking, and it will leak, and it's only going to get worse, and eventually the paint will all peel up around here.
At first I was thinking I could just put the correct pinstripe on it and write decal and then be done, but that'd be a waste because it's got to come down to get welded. Yeah. So it's going to get repainted because of that.
And somebody forced all thread into the holes.
Yeah, that's not the correct hardware for that. But,
not even close.
I mean, it looks like it's functional, but it's not what's supposed to be there.
It's not correct. It's not correct anywhere it's close to being correct.
And if it's requiring to be changed over, then we will do that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all thread on both of them.
And these parts where the parts are threaded into, they're kind of rough looking too as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's been fixed.
Yeah. And that's not surprising because that literally rips out a lot, especially on pre-unit tanks. Yeah, they usually, that little cut part, depending on what year pre-unit I'm talking about, but they like to come apart as well and bust out. And yeah, then you got to try to manipulate it and fix it all up. So yeah, anyway, so we'll end up working on this tank or a tank like it. Well, no, either way, whatever. But that'll be going on. That'll be happening down the road too. So but anyway, this is kind of just an overall assessment of this situation here with this bike. So we'll probably put some of this stuff away for now, and then we'll probably put this engine over on the table. And then we got to make room for our pre-unit project coming up too. So I mean, I'm not sure what if we're gonna do them at the same exact time, but probably not because they're two different. I might confuse this, but we'll see. We'll see going forward. So over here we got the engine on the table here, and we're just kind of looking at some stuff here. Looks kind of nice and rough in some spots. We noticed that his inner cover is not cracked like the other 68 was, so that's a good sign. Other cosmetic parts are really good shape. We don't see any case cracks or anywhere so far, or any pieces missing from chain problems or anything, so that's good news. But we do notice that when we mess around with the pistons here, we see that the pistons here, now when you look at this piston, you can see right away that it's all brown right through here, oily, burned stuff. That means those rings weren't sealing.
No, it was blow by.
Yeah, I mean, that's typical. You get to have that on every piston with a little bit of some grime on top. And inside here, I don't know, the oil was doing something weird too. Yeah, so talking about the pistons here, we got the wrist pin up here, and we try pushing it through.
And it don't go.
Yeah, it doesn't want to fit
really
in.
Tight.
Oh, that's a problem.
This one don't go either.
This could be one of the telltale signs of that engine noise he was hearing. But then again, also knocks come from inside too. So we're going to end up tearing it apart anyway, but we found something that's kind of like really... and
it's all blackened in there. And
really
it just, we might just replace them bushings.
That will help out too. Yeah, also they don't really, you had a hard time putting in the piston as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it just, well,
Compared to how they normally go in?
yeah, it goes. A used piston will be like that. When they're brand new, they slide right in. See, it goes.
Okay. Okay, good.
And you want them tight because
Yeah, right.
otherwise you got piston knock. And see, it goes.
Okay, cool. All right. I guess it was just the small
These
bushings.
don't go. They get stuck. And they do not slide in and out. And, yeah, that's an issue. Plus, they're brass and they're black.
Yeah. Well,
And that might be all of it. It just might be because they're just really got burnt on crud like everywhere else.
yeah, on this side I noticed that this cover has Allen's in it. And that side here has the
Phillips or
The-
the other ones.
Posi Drive
Posi drive.
screws. Yep. So anyway, I guess hope you liked this video, and I hope you're excited to see this bike come together. But we're gonna call it quits on this video for right now. So hope you enjoyed everything, and we'll see you again soon. Because next up we'll be tearing this motor apart and fixing it up.